Hello, it's time for another review, and this time it's going to be another Roco locomotive. But this time it's again more low-end locomotive. It's a diesel hydraulic locomotive from German Railways, class 215, and it's starter line of Roco locomotives from 1997. But first, let's find out this vehicle history.
Class 215 or V163 is four-axle mainline diesel hydraulic locomotive of Western German Railways. Initially, it was designed as transitional locomotive from Class V160, later Class 216, to Class 218. It was planned to replace Class 215 machinery with Class 218 machinery, but conversion didn't happen, and Class 215 locomotives worked in their initial configuration till their withdrawal. Initially, locomotives were painted in ocean blue ivory paint job. In 1990s, paint job was changed to standard Deutsche Bahn traffic red. Class 215 locomotives was used both in freight and passenger service in Deutsche Bahn. From 2000s, active withdrawal of Class 215 locomotives has started. Currently, they do not serve passenger lines, but still do some work for cargo service as Class 225. For model world, it's quite common model, and almost all manufacturers produce this model. And it's also a very common model for starter sets.
Now it's time to take a look on this model. As I mentioned before, it's diesel locomotive. Again, it's made by Roco and it's low-end locomotive. It was included in starter packs in 1990s. This loco exactly was produced in 1997 as part of a starting pack with other cars and tracks. Unfortunately, I own only this locomotive. So, what do we see here? Despite its low-end locomotive, I cannot tell that that paint job is bad. It's pretty well done, and it's a wine red paint job of Deutsche Bahn, indicating that this is a later version of paint job. So, indicating that this locomotive exactly from 1990s. What else? Labels are crisp and very well done. Again, despite this is the low-end locomotive. All grills are also quite detailed and correctly placed. Of course, doors couldn't be opened, but are again quite detailed. There are small interesting features like these fuel caps and this fuel tank. What else? Also, there are quite a lot of details on bodies. Yes, they are as detailed as on our previous locomotive. The only difference I see that glass is not see-through, it's just piece of plastic, a grayish piece of plastic, both on cabin and both in engine room. Locomotive is symmetrical, so other side it looks exactly the same as left side. Also, like on electric locomotive, we see numbers 1 and 2 indicating default driving direction, so it means that default driving direction is on that way. Let's take a look on locomotive front. At front, again, no cab details at all, which is unfortunately. We can see headlights. There is a direction lighting. Again, if locomotive moves forward, you see a white light. If it moves backwards, you'd see a red light. Same as on electric loco. We can see that locomotive is class 215 and locomotive number is 61. We also can see plastic buffers and standard Roco couplers. They are also returned to original position, so they have springs. Now let's move on to the top. From the top there is nothing special in my opinion. There are molded exhausts, some grills, and other roof equipment. Again, there is way less details compared to electric loco. For example, communication antenna is missing, same as other small pieces of equipment. From the bottom part we can see standard Roco bodies. Locomotive is for axle and all axles are driven. There is a full wheel pickup. Also, pickups could be seen from here. There are traction tires, one per each body. And also you can see a fuel tank, and if needed, fuel tank could be disassembled. Yes, and it's also possible to change couplers if you need to do it. Inside class 215 we can see a huge can motor, unfortunately without any flywheels. It's using cardan in order to power locomotive bodies. Also, some small crack could be observed in drive shaft, which is shame. It means that a locomotive may fail after some extent. Locomotive has a huge metal frame, assume made from zinc alloy. For lighting, it has two light bulbs located here and here. Considering it's made in 1997, it's quite old-fashioned decision. On a roof, nothing special here, and here you can see that lights are placed here, and then using optical plastic headlights are working. Not the best in engineering solution, but what we have is what we have. Okay, let's put our shell back on. Locomotive weighs 380 grams, 60 grams, even 65 grams more heavier than electric loco, but yeah, it feels quite heavy, like a brick. Now it's time to test our locomotive. I assembled again my horrible test track, and now it's time to feed some juice. Okay, it's 4 volts and locomotive already moving. Let's feed him 9 volts. It's quite noisy. Current draw is high, like 0.4, even 0.5 amps, and about 4 watts. But it runs, and runs quite smoothly. And it's not the reason that locomotive is unserviced. I lubricated both of bodies and serviced the engine. So yeah, let's feed him 12 volts and see how it works. Actually, current draw stays the same, just 0.5 amps and about 5.5 watts. Let's take a look up close to our locomotive. Direction lighting is working, same as rear lights. Now it's time to test our locomotive speed. Let's measure full lap time. So about 8 seconds. So it should be around 155 kilometers per hour, as my track length is 8 meters. Now it's time to test this locomotive pulling capacity. I've assembled this test consist. Yeah, I know it's not historically correct, but we have here 10 wagons and total mass of 1 kilo. So I suppose as it's Roco, there shouldn't be any problem of pulling such a load. Okay, I'm giving it just 2 volts and it's already moving, so amazing pulling capacity. Let's give him 9 volts and see how it works. Yeah, it works just awesome. Like, there is no problem at all. I just adore Roco. You just feed him some power and it just works. Even if model 40 years old, it still just works and has amazing cooling capacity, really prototypical speed. So yeah, awesome models. So conclusion. Actually, pretty nice model. I cannot say it's good in terms of details. It's pretty simple loco. And you also seen that it's not as reliable as high-end Roco models. There are some issues inside, but still it's Roco. And still awesome reliability, awesome pulling capacity, really prototypical speed. Locomotive is heavy, yeah, so I think it could pull twice or three, even 3 times as more as it's pulling now, so it's awesome. It's quite easy to service, easy to repair. Nice loco. Definitely not as good as previous class 112 model, but still it's a really decent model. And actually, if you are just entering the hobby, I would suggest you to search for entry-level Roco models and buy yourself one. For example, this model just cost me about 25 euros. It's just a bit more expensive than Bachmann model, but comparing to Bachmann, it's completely different level of quality and reliability. So, thank you for watching and see you next time.